Hey everyone, Aladdin's Castle here, and here are the top 5 new cards from Fabled. Let's check it out. So the brand new set of Fable is releasing pretty soon, right around the corner, August 29th at your local card game shops. And this is going to be a brand new format with brand new cards. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a whole new set because this is focused on rotated cards. So what Disney Lorcana decided to do was rotate the first 4 sets out, so you cannot play that in the core constructed play for majority of the tournaments. There are, however, some formats where they're going to allow the old cards to be able to be played, but for the most part, they're going to be cycling out some of the old cards, and they are reprinting a lot of the new ones. So this is going to be focused on a set solely for new players to try to get into the game, especially those who've been playing for a while. This might not be the set for you. This might be the set for those who are going to be starting fresh and starting something new for the Lorcana card game. But there are going to be 33 new cards, and out of that I made a list of top 5 new cards from Fabled. So let's start off with some honorable mentions. So of course, just like any other personal list, this is all just my opinion. You guys could kind of figure this out as the way we go, but these are some cards that didn't quite make the list for my top 5, but you could always put that in your own. So I'm going to start off with the brand new steel card, Jasmine. So FYI, I did not get these cards early, and these are all beautiful proxies that I printed off. But she is a 5 cost, 3/7, quest for 2, and her ability says, during your turn, this character gains evasive. And also another ability called Now's My Chance. Choose and discard a card. This character gains Challenger +3 this turn. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is not a once per turn effect. So you could use this multiple times. And what's great about this card is that she is a evasive nightmare. You could basically take out a Maui Shark, you could take out the Genies, the new Genie that's coming out, you could take out the new Dumbo. So she's really powerful in that aspect, being able to trade into early evasives. You could even play this in blue steel. You could ramp her up on turn 4. You could keep up with Blurple with their ramp so that you could hit this on curve to go challenge the Genie as well. Really, really good card, especially in the format where a lot of the steel removal cards are gone, like Zeus, for instance. So you need some ways to deal with the Maui Sharks and a lot of the big evasives in the format. So I think Jasmine is going to be really, really powerful in the upcoming set. The next card that I believe did not quite make the top 5 list, but could potentially be, is Circle of Life. This is the Mufasa we have at home. Shoutouts to Hans, shoutouts to Dad Kana, everybody out there. RIP Mufasa. I thought he was going to live another year or 2, but that's okay. He came in the form of Circle of Life. It is a brand new action song card. Costs 8, but it's Sing Together 8, which says play a character from your discard pile for free. So this, I think, will be played in a lot of the Singer decks that are coming out for the new format. You have things like Ruby Amber, you have the new Powerline, which, spoiler alert, he is in my top 5. You could sing this as early as turn 4 with the shift. And you could play those very powerful cards like Maui Shark, you could play another Powerline, you could play a Surfer Stitch from your discard pile for free and be able to utilize that mechanic. Anything in this game for free is really, really strong. Playing cards for free, especially something so powerful like those cards that I mentioned, is going to be really, really hard for those other decks to get rid of, especially with lack of removal in this format. Another crazy tech for this card is Amber Steel. Amber Steel songs did get a peg down, I think, for this set because they lost a lot of their main singers. They lost Cinderella, they lost Ariel, they lost Storm, they lost Zeus, they lost Whole New World. But they still kept some of the powerful singers like Ursula. They still have Troubadour and stuff. And if you want to go Magic Christmas Land, you could play, I saw this online, you could play Rhino on turn 1, you could play Ursula Troubadour on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you shift Rhino for 2, you play Mulan, you discard Big Mickey, 10-drop Mickey, and then you sing Circle of Life with Rhino and Ursula Troubadour, insane, to play the Big Mickey out on turn 3 on the play. That is probably one of the grossest things you could do in this game that early on, and GG, good luck for your opponent trying to get out of that. But that is, of course, a crazy combo that requires multiple cards in your hand, and I think people will try that out, but I don't think it'll be going off too often. But you can see the potential of Circle of Life, just being able to get cards that are so strong from your discard pile. There are a lot of decks now that draws and pitches a card. Green with Bobby has a new card, so you could draw, discard Big Mickey. You could play A lot of crazy stuff in here. Maybe not Big Mickey, but you could play any high drop character, Ursula's, Clarabelle's, any really strong character in the late game. So I think this card is going to be experimented with, and I can't wait to try it out. All right, moving on to my top 5. I'm going to start off with the Max Goof shift line. So this is the new shift line from the new set. So we have a couple cards. We got 2 3-drop Max Goofs, and then we got the 6-cost shift line over here that shifts over it. So we're going to start off with the Ruby Singer 5 Max Goof. Really, really strong. You could sing 5-cost songs right off the bat, and that is the ideal curve that you want to play on turn 3. If you have another line going on, you could also play the 3-drop Emerald Max Goof that says when you play this character, you may pay 1 to put a song card that's 3 costs or less from your discard pile to your hand. So this will get back like your strengths, this will get back your 3-cost songs. I'll put a whole bunch on there on the list, but you could recur a lot of songs back and forth to your hand, which this game hasn't really done yet. And then you have the powerful shift line on turn 4 that says when this character quests, you could play a song with a cost 4 or less from your discard pile for free and then bottom deck it. So you could play Be King Undisputed, you could play You're Welcome, you could play some cards that also heal damage as well. And it quests for 2. It's a very powerful card, and I think people are going to experiment with at least this shift line in other colors as well. You could play this in green steel. You could play Strength over and over again, which is also really powerful to get rid of the board. So it's a really cool card that I think is going to see a lot of play in the next set, and I'm excited to try out Max Goof. All right, starting off with number 4, we have the Emerald Genie. This is the brand new legendary card called Off the Lamp, and his ability is called Let's Make Some Magic. While this card is exerted, your other characters get +2 strength. So because of the format and how cards are missing, such as Crab and Cricky, and lack of strength boosting abilities, I think Genie is going to be able to at least trade with a lot of your evasive characters. So I think in this meta, there could be a strong case of evasive cards that are going to be super powerful. You have purple, you have Blurple everywhere, you have Genies and Elsas that still survive, Iagos. Sometimes you're going to want to trade for the tempo, and you can't really do that unless your characters are strong enough. So if this is exerted, now your other purple Genie could trade into another Genie, or your Elsas could trade into another Genie. You could really trade back and forth, and that's, I think, the really strong point in this meta is being able to challenge back and forth with your characters, and Genie is able to do that. He's also evasive, and if you get rid of your characters and he just keeps on questing for 2, it's just going to make those trades awkward when he's exerted, and it will force your opponent to try to get rid of Genie first so that they don't lose so much tempo being traded with the high strength characters because of his power boost. All right, and going on to the number 3 card here, we have Nala. Nala, I think, is one of the strongest cards coming out of the new set. She is uninkable, yes, but her ability is so insane in this format. So she is a 0/2, quest for 2. Her ability, Determine the Diversion, says while this character has no damage, she gets +1 lore and +1 resist. I think she's actually better than Piglet, mostly because in the older format, you have cards like Storm Rage on, you have cards that ping damage as well, and Piglet has a conditional ability where you need to meet 3 characters on the board. Nala, you don't have to. She instantly gets 1 lore and 1 questing power and 1 resist just for having no damage. And in this format, which has lack of removal, and the ping damages are only doing 1, if anything, early game, she's going to be able to survive, and she's going to be able to quest for 3. You pair this up with a bodyguard, you pair this up with cards that heal. It's just going to be really annoying for your opponent to get rid of, and she's going to be in a lot of aggro decks, and I expect this card to be really annoying, especially if they open up with Daisy. You play Nala, and then turn 3 you play like a bodyguard, like a lady in a bodyguard. It's going to be so hard for you to catch up, especially against Amber Steel aggro on the play. It's definitely going to be a problem. All right, moving on to the number 2 card, at least in my list, and that is Dumbo. This is the brand new Amethyst legendary as well. Dumbo is a 3/3 quest for 1 and has evasive and the ability called Breaking Records. You could exert this and pay 1 lore or 1 ink to draw a card and gain a lore. So you're still getting a lore just by exerting it, but you're able to draw a card. In this format, you don't really have too much draw power. You especially in purple, you lost friends on the other side. You lost some of your cantrips like Chernobog's followers and Magic Broom. You're really only drawing one-for-ones with Genies, maybe Cusco and Finders Keepers bats late in the game. But once this gets to like mid to late game, you're just drawing cards and turning cards sideways. There's no board wipe in this game, so evasive is going to survive unless your opponent is playing heavily evasive tech. And if you have a bunch of evasive just turning sideways and drawing cards, you're just going to out-resource your opponent. And I think card draw is going to be really important in this format, especially with the lack of. And then his other ability says your other characters with evasive gain the same ability, draw a card and gain a lore. So it just stacks up. And if Dumbo isn't answered early game, then you're just going to run away with just so much card advantage. And I think this card's going to be really, really strong in the meta. All right, going to my number one card of this set, it is going to be the Powerline Shift Line. And this, just like the Max Goof, has two other shift targets below it, which are the 2-cost and 3-cost Powerline. So you have the 2-cost Powerline over here, which is a 3/2 Singer 4, which is also really strong. Sing all those powerful cards, Be King, Undisputed, You're Welcome, or any other 4-cost song. And then you also have the 3-cost Powerline that is almost like a Madam Mim Fox. So this says Electric Move. If you played a song this turn, this character gains Rush this turn. So you could play a 2-drop card. It could be Ursula, it could be Max Goof, it could also be a Powerline. And then on turn 3, you play this, you sing a song with your 2-drop. That could be Heffalumps, that could be Sudden Chill, that could be any 2-coster song that you could play. Then this gains Rush. So it's pretty much like a Fox. It could potentially be there to take out the daisies. It's a very strong card because it's a 4/3, really good stat line, and you don't have to bounce anything. So being able to utilize this with your song package is really strong so that you could shift into the big power line. So shout outs to Nicholas Cole on this artwork. It was really amazing. Sat there in Gen Con just seeing his process to create this card was really, really cool. And his ability is a Shift 4 Singer 9 that says during your turn, once per turn, whenever this character sings a song, you look at the top 4 cards from your deck. You could play a song that's 9 costs or less for free, and then put the rest of the bottom of your deck for any order. So if you're going to be building this deck, there are so many powerful songs that are 7, 8, 9 cost. You could think about stuff like Under the Sea, which is going to be really powerful in this meta. You could think of songs like Beyond the Horizon, which could draw you some extra cards. You could play some Amethyst draw cards as well. You could play Eye to Eye. There's so many possibilities, and the reason why I put this as number 1 is because of the flexibility that Powerline could give. You can play this in any color combination that has powerful songs. And in this game, of course, there's cards like Ursula and Pete that exist, which I think will be a good counter for this deck. If they don't get this checked, you have the potential of singing 2 songs. So you could sing a Pirate's Life or something like that with this. Look at the top 4, top deck, like Under the Sea, wipe half their board. And then you could have cards like Maui that also gain lore while you're singing songs. So you'd be playing 2 actions, sometimes 3 actions. And if you really, really wanted to, you could play the Ruby Lilo. If you played 3 or more actions, you could play this for free. Then at the end of the turn, you could ready this. So there's a lot of potential for the Powerline Shift Line to kind of take off. And I'm really excited for that because there's not really too many song interactions in this game because of the lack of aerial, the lack of early game singers, and some of the cards that are cycled out like Zeus and Whole New World and everything. So I think the new line is going to be Powerline with Amber Steel, Powerline with Ruby Steel, Powerline with Red Green. Like, it's gonna be so many options, and that's why I put this as my number 1 pick, because of the potential and the flexibility that this could fit in any other deck. And I'm really excited to try this out and possibly open that enchanted. So there you guys have it. That is pretty much my list of the top 5 cards with some honorable mentions. I'm sure I missed out a couple of them. There are some cards that are out there that I didn't mention, but I know there's a lot of testing that still has to be going on. But from the first scene of it, I think these powerful cards are going to see a lot of meta play, especially Powerline. You got Dumbo, you got Goofy, Genie. I think they're all going to be playing their own critical role in their respective decks, and I cannot wait to dive deeper into this format. And I hope you guys are excited for Fabled, which comes out in a couple weeks, right around the corner. And make sure you guys get these singles, because you guys will need these for these decks. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. We will see you in the next video.